kind of formal having a thing here. First day of practice was great to be back with the players and on the grass, and beautiful weather, incredible day. Just being out there, it was really fun to see some of the players that have been out for a while. Chris Ingram and Tayshawn, those two guys have been out for a long time, so having them back on the grass was really a heartfelt thing. Happy for them. You know, can't really give you too much without watching the tape and not having pads on, but there's good energy, there's a lot of carryover, and it's exciting just to be back into the season.
Dave, it seems like you guys have got a couple freshmen who would maybe in a normal year be able to challenge for some playing time in their first year. Do you see it being more difficult for freshmen to get on the field this year just with all of the pieces that you've got coming back?
Yeah, I would say in college football in general, it's going to be that way. I think, you know, for most of us that have the super senior thing going on, you're going to have guys that might have played, not even freshmen, like maybe a sophomore that's in that same situation. That a good example is us with Emeka and C.J. Riley. We didn't expect to have those two guys for another year. And so now the receiver room's, you know, a little heavy because of that. And we'll have some really talented guys fighting to get on the field that may not, and that's okay. You know, if they got a red shirt and play in 4 games and learn from some veteran players, that's not a bad thing for us to have that situation.
Along those same lines, you have so many guys who know where to go, know where to line up. They've done it so many times. I mean, obviously, you guys are going to coach them hard regardless, but you have to find a way to kind of challenge them because they've done it so many times before.
Well, I think these guys have really high goals for this football team, and so it's easy to hold them to little things, you know. This isn't last year's team. Obviously, every year it's new, but you can learn from things that happen. And we won 5 one-possession games. We lost 2, you know. And so in those one-possession games, there's details, little things that you can hold them accountable for out here because they add up. And you know, it's a hungry team and it's competitive. I mean, there's some guys trying to get on the field versus other guys that are also really good, and they can't have really a down day and keep their job.
Do you look around at this point and think that you've never had this much depth before?
Well, I don't think anyone has.
Yeah.
I mean, we've never had super seniors in college football. So, I mean, it's not just here. I said this the other day, Pitt has 16 super seniors on the roster, you know. I mean, there's teams with over 100 guys on scholarship right now. So the whole country is different from that standpoint, not just NC State.
Do you feel like that your group in particular, because when you recruited, you know, the 3rd and 4th year guys right now, you kind of circled this year for when they would be at this point in their career.
Right, yeah, I mean, with Drake and Peyton and that whole group of guys, I said it a couple years ago, I'm like, you know, in 3 years we could be really good, and we have a chance to be really good. We just have to go earn it.
I wanted to ask you a question about the special teams unit as well. It feels like it's usually a unit that gets overlooked a lot of times, but you have a lot of returning experience. Long snapper, punter, kicker, everywhere, and returner. You know, how good is it to have that going into camp as well?
You know, Coach Goebel spoke to the team last night, and that was one of the things he pointed out. Like, he showed a punt return to Thayers for a touchdown. He showed a kick return to Zonomans for a touchdown. He showed Trent Gill booming a punt and punting one inside the 5-yard line. He showed Chris Dunn hitting a long field goal and Shimko snapping. And just to get the room excited, he's like, look, we got some talent, and these guys here, you guys need to play for them, because the other people on those units, as you know, have a lot to do with the success of those units as well. And you know, if you're coaching a kickoff return team or a punt return team and you know the guy back there can house it, that's a fun team to be on, you know. So we're excited about it. We've got to build some depth behind those guys now, and there's some young guys now that we're looking forward to developing.
You mentioned having a couple guys back, and guys like Emeka, Mezzi, and C.J. Riley, who you didn't expect to have back. Obviously, like we just talked about, that could potentially make it harder for some of your younger players to get on the field, but do you think that'll help them be even better later in their careers, that they have these guys to learn and take lessons from that they maybe normally wouldn't have?
Yeah, they should. Like, you know, if they don't take advantage of that, that's on them. I mean, something we're going to obviously point out as coaches, and our older players do a really good job. You saw that at practice. They help the younger guys. They talk to them. They coach them. Sometimes younger guys think they know everything, and then they have regret, you know, for not taking advantage of a learning moment like that. So it's definitely something that we're hopeful that they get a lot out of that. And you know, while they're standing watching, which is hard, right? I mean, these guys all used to playing every snap in high school, so if they're not getting those reps, hopefully they'll get them mentally.
There's a lot of returning talent. There's also a lot of transfers that have come into the program. What have you seen from those guys so far? I know a couple of them just got their first time in action today as well.
Yeah, I need to see pads before we really give you some input. I mean, they work hard. They got really good attitudes. They're very thankful to be here. They've mentioned that over and over, just how blessed they are to have a fresh start, and they're excited about the opportunity. But, how they're doing, I just need to see some practice to give you a real thing about that. Now, on the hoof, they look really good. They're big, good-looking dudes,
Dave, have you ever had a group of linebackers this good?
Yeah. At Kansas, we had 3 guys that were fantastic. The year we were really good, had the Conference Player of the Year in the room there with Nick Reed. And then at Wisconsin, we had a crew that was really good. 3 of those guys went on to be drafted and play in the NFL. And this is an elite group. It's an elite group. And it's been a while, since I've been around. And it's really more than 3. I think Levi Jones does a lot for our team, too. I mean, and Jalen Scott's getting better. And so it's a really talented room Coach Gibson's put together.
I know you have depth across the board, but is there one position group or one battle you're curious and you kind of kept yourself peeking at, just kind of see how that battle's going in a particular group?
Yeah, the corner spot, with Chris and Tayshawn coming back and seeing Shy Battle and Aiden White, there's a lot of competition there in that room. So I'm definitely staring at that one. There's competition for the right tackle job, watching that, the guard position. And then on our D-line, we rotate, but, who's going to be out there first? There's some good players in that room right now, and they're all going to battle for that. And so those are kind of really the 3 positions that stick out to me.
Does it look like C.J. Riley has regained the speed that he had before he was hurt?
He made some good plays today, I'm very hopeful, not just his speed, but just his ability to sustain it, and stay out there with us. And he looked good today. It's one day at camp, but today he looked good. All right. Thank you, guys.